Hello everyone, this is Ishan here. Today I'll be talking about the recently released title by Mega Man creator KJ Inafune, Mighty No.9. Mighty No.9 was funded through a Kickstarter and reached its goal to successfully start a development cycle. After a while, the game had tons of extra content, and not just the game, but concept art, voice acting, and a potential film. From the many delays the game has received, the hype built around the game eventually died down, only to be received mediocre reviews. I'm here to give a small look at the game itself, how it was supposed to be made as a successor to the Mega Man series, and why it was given such a major backlash. Mighty No.9 sports itself to become more of a reboot of the Mega Man Classic series. In this case, the team of concept and indie creates would need to enhance both the gameplay and aesthetics of the original games, without drifting away from the formula. The concept art from the first teaser trailer was a great start to get fans already funding for the game to be made. Unfortunately, that was all that was, concept art. The final art design just felt dirty, the graphics itself looked muddy, and the frames on occasion would stagger. Reducing the amount of money used towards the assets for this game, maybe it would have been a better option to stick with sprites instead of models, preferably a 16-bit version to enhance the design for Mega Man Classic series. The sound clips are also a bit underwhelming. The voice acting in particular is inherently stale. The most infamous example is the voice acting for the character Call, which might be the most static excuse of a voice for a robot I've ever heard.
Confirming. Confirmed. Defective Cherry-Dine robots are rampaging throughout the city.
Gadzooks! That is not good!
I wouldn't say the voice is as cringy as Mega Man 8, but I wouldn't say they were good either. There was just no reason for it. At the very least, you do have the option to turn off both the dialogue and the voices from the main menu. To my own surprise, while music is heavily subjective, nothing really clicked with me here in terms of the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Mighty No.9 is as ambient as Mega Man 8's, maybe more so. I thought the 8-bit rendition would help me enjoy the tracks, but I think it just didn't fit well with the art style. If there was something the developers got right, it was that they kept the core gameplay of Mega Man intact. The main premise is jumping and shooting like the original Blue Bomber, but now and again a new mechanic which separates Mighty No.9 to the other games is the absorption system. The player can infinitely dash across the screen for a faster movement, and while enemies are weak, you can absorb standard powers and rack up combos. This is a simple premise, but it was as enjoyable as dashing in Mega Man X, with some extra depth to the game. It was especially helpful during the platforming sections. As far as everything else is concerned, it does still play like Mega Man. The stages, while interesting, can still have many cheap enemy placements or instant death traps, and the bosses who share the same formula of being weak to a certain weapon have an attack pattern that must be learned beforehand. Even though these seem like poor game design choices, this is what Mega Man was always before. All fans were asking for 6 years ago was another Mega Man game. The formula got stale around Mega Man 4 to 6. Things were changed for Mega Man 7 and 8, which turned off some people. And over 10 years after the fact, Mega Man 9 and 10 seemed like it wasn't going to change, even though those two games had been the strongest in the series. The fans just didn't know what they wanted out of the Mega Man franchise. So when Mighty No.9 was made to become a new franchise with familiar gameplay, players were expecting improvements. If I had to give praise for Mighty No.9 about something, it's that you can keep your weapon ammo even after you have died in a level similar to Mega Man 8. At its very core, Mighty No.9 seemed like it was doing something right, emulating the mechanics of what Mega Man was all about. However, within 1 month of its release, why do so many people harp on this game, even after the 3 years it was made? Well, that's its first problem right there. Those 3 years of the game being developed was nothing more than Kickstarter goals to add something that was not needed in the first place. The game was funded over $4 million by the time the game was complete, so anyone who gave their support through Kickstarter felt like they wasted their time, or better yet, they did not receive anything well worth in return. The game was delayed 9 times between the initial and final release. Console ports had to be reworked, which in due time caused the Wii U ports to crash. The sound quality was poor, the graphics were not impressive, and the final trailer didn't help sell the game. Looking at Mighty No.9 as a Mega Man game isn't really as different as Mega Man 4 or 5, though the game felt like the same caliber of quality as Mega Man 8. It doesn't mean that Mega Man 4, 5, or 8 are bad, but Mighty No.9, like those games, are nothing substantial. If I were to look at this as a standalone game, it's at most an okay game. However, considering the plethora amount of delays, the $4 million put into this game, and the fact that it was designed by a creator who was familiar with platformers in the first place, Mighty No.9 could have been so much better. as it is right now, and while we might not see a new Mega Man game title after this, I guess we can all agree that this is indeed better than nothing.